In this training, we're going to be talking about how to increase your show up rates so you can actually get more leads, not only to sign up, but to show up and to buy. And the whole purpose of that is to be able to double your revenue without actually spending any more on ads. So to be honest, I never thought I would be creating a training or a workshop on show up rates, but Dan and I always look at what people are struggling with the most. And this is something that people are bringing when they come to us before they get inside Elevate to every single call. So we decided to create a training just on show up rates because the truth is show up rates have been on a decline for years. And if we go back to 2018, 2019, 2020, when people were home, show up rates were averaging 30% or higher. And when people are coming to us, the conversations we're having last year in 2023, last year was 2023 at the time we're recording this, people were saying my show up rates have declined to 10%. And I have to tell you that on average right now, we are hearing show up rates averaging before people work with us to 5% right now. And first of all, that is frustrating when you're putting so much time and energy into a launch, into a webinar, into something, and 95% of your audience is not showing up live. It gets frustrating. And then to kind of be wondering like, well, where are all the people? So what we are hearing, and we experienced this long ago, which is why we changed our model years and years ago, but people are experiencing higher sign-up rates than ever. Opt-in pages converting really well, leads higher than ever, even ad costs are coming down, yet people are, they're ghosting. And we've been calling them phantom leads, where it's like, where are all the people? You're on stage and like no one is in the audience. Where are the people? So 95% of your audience is doing something else at the time you are live. So in this training, we're going to show you how to increase your show up rates, and we're going to kind of put a little bit different of a twist on this so you can have better results and you start to see the stacking of success. Because for me, I love money, and obviously I love helping people. And most importantly, I know the people that we work with do good. And the longer you are around in business, the better for everyone, the better for your people, the better for your audience, the better for the world, the better for your community. And I know that when we don't see the results that we expect, it takes a toll on us. So I want to help you stay in business longer. And ultimately, if we can help you increase your show up rates, then that is going to be one way that you will stay in business longer.
Yeah, so I think the main focus of this training is how to get more qualified people to register for your events, trainings, launches, whatever you're doing, and so that more of those people show up and so that more of those people buy. So the question, the goal that we want to get to is having sales come in every single week. If you're not selling all the time, having more sales come in through your launch. But as you go through this, you will see why we believe it's so important to get sales every single week, not only for the good of your business, but also for a data point. So we're going to walk through all of that today. I'm just going to change. Oh, all right.
So if you're new to us, I'm Nicole, and this is my husband and partner, Dan, and our company's name is Elevated. We developed the 7 to 7 formula years ago. I quit my teaching job in 2011, and we started in the food space. And we started building funnels and running ads with our food business. And fast forward 3 kids, 2 businesses later, now we help other founders grow wildly profitable and wildly fun businesses with selling every single week, with selling evergreen, having something for sale all of the time. And the 2 key pieces are the profitable and the fun. Because like I said, I want to help you stay in business longer. And it's no surprise that we see businesses dropping like flies every single month. And I know that you are one of the good ones. So we want to help you stay in business, make more money, make more profit, have more fun. have more impact and do it for a really, really long time. And for many people, I won't get on a soapbox here, but for many people, the way that they have been operating, the way that they have been doing things just is not working anymore. And when something isn't working, do we keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, or do we make a change? And the change we're going to be talking about today can be so simple, but it is so powerful and truly changes people's business. When people watch the training, when people implement what we're going to show you today, when they get on the phone with us, and if you want to learn more, you can click the application around the video. They are like, your free trainings changed my life so much. I can't even imagine what your paid for trainings do. And that's the type of effect we want to have, because we want you to do things that work, and we want you to know that every single thing you're doing is working.
So over the last 90 days, who have you been talking to? Now, we say this because most people are talking to their entire audience. They are just being broad. And in our experience, broad equals boring. And so what we really need to focus on is talking to a smaller niche of people, who are those people who are going to take action with your content, meaning they will talk back to you, they will engage, they will comment, they will have conversations, meaning they will show up. So if you do a launch, you do a training, you do a webinar, they will be there, and then they will buy. So this is the changes that we need to start making, is talking to different people in our audience.
No, if you should be talking to different people, we're gonna get into that. But if you are putting out content and no one is talking back to you, if you are getting crickets on social media, if you're getting crickets on your email list, if you are doing your live trainings and the people who are there are saying, thank you so much, this was so valuable, I'm good now, then chances are you have been talking to way too broad of a segment. You've been talking to your entire audience. So if you are not getting talking back to, if you are saying my audience is sleeping, it's crickets, I'm like, are you there? Then this is one of the signs you're talking to way too big of an audience. So let's talk about myths or outdated truths, because these are things that people are still living and dying by in the online industry. And I'll tell you that we have built a multi-7-figure business without playing the quantity game, without doing more hours of work, without just trying to get more and more and more followers or leads, without adding more and more and more team members. Most people in the online space are just thinking, okay, well, now I need to scale. So now I need to add more of everything, including complication, including team members, including audience, including leads. And the more to get more equation, that's not our standard. We don't live by that standard, because at some point more is not better. And this is also why you see a lot of businesses shut down, because at some point you cannot just take more and more and more. Something is going to break. So these old outdated truths that maybe worked in 2019 and 2020, which we started sounding alarms then and saying these things aren't working as well anymore. These things aren't working as well anymore, which is why our clients get such phenomenal results, because we don't live by these standards, because they just don't work the same way anymore. So outdated truths, just add more leads. It's like you're trying to make pancakes or something, and you're just trying to create pancakes from this mix, and it says just add water. It's not, you cannot just add more leads and expect more buyers anymore. The equation is broken. This other myth that just, oh, well, if you converted 3% on your first or second or third launch, then you're going to convert 3% at your next launch. It's just not true. It is just not true. The climate is different. We're in 2024 now. There's a lot of reasons why this isn't true, but risking your entire business on one launch to say, oh, I'm going to convert the same, it's way too risky. And we are not in the business of being that risky. Longer trainings equals more buyers. We do these micro trainings, and Honestly, like think about your attention span.
Yeah.
Think about how long you want to be on a computer, on a phone, especially I know our people, like we have 3 kids, so we don't attend a lot of free things. And we don't like think about your people. If your person has to change their life, get childcare, get a babysitter, get someone else to pick up their kids. If they have to get, if they're at work and they have a project, are they going to change their entire life to show up for your training?
And I also think most people believe longer trainings equal more value, and the more value will equal more buyers. And so we see this every day. It's just not true. Longer trainings are not more valuable. The simplicity is what's so important. So the sooner you can get someone an aha, the sooner you can demonstrate your value, your expertise, that is when you should be selling to people. And that's when you should be getting sales. These long drawn out launches, these long webinars, they're just not working like they used to because people they don't have the time, they're not trusting, and they don't want to sit through stuff like that. They either want to hear how you can support them or not. They're moving a lot faster than they used to.
And if you think about it, we kind of have to use for those of us who have kids, like the babysitter test. Would I get a babysitter for this? Okay. Taylor Swift concert. A friend handed me free tickets to a Taylor Swift concert. Okay, I'm going to get a babysitter for that. Or whatever concert, whoever you love. For a free training online, I'm not getting a babysitter for that. I don't care how good it is. So if you like put it through the babysitter test, would your person get a babysitter? And if the answer is no, then that is affecting your show up rates. This is something we get to look at.
Yeah. And then the last thing is the bigger the promise equals more buyers. This goes back to this general broad speaking of I can solve all of your problems. Come work with me. The bigger the promise does not get more sales. It's actually the more specific the promise. The more specific, the more timely the promise. We are trying to find out the struggles, the problems that our people are having right now. What are they experiencing in their world as of 1044 on March 13th? That is what we are looking for. We're only looking for that thing, and that can get us buyers. So we could actually rewrite these if
well, the bigger the promise for one more minute, because a lot of us we're taught in marketing, and we do teach this too, but with a twist. I want you to be the elevated CEO. I want you to have whatever amount of money you want to have. I want you to build the freedom, build the impact, have a profitable business, have a fun business. I want you to have all of those things. And that is not what you are thinking about when you zoom in on your morning today. Like on your morning today, if you just did a launch or you're going into a launch, you're sitting here like, how do I increase my show up rate? So it's not just about making these grandiose promises. I want to show you the lifestyle, of course, but I know that you have something on your mind this morning that you're like, if I could just fix this. So it's not about just giving people more and more and more. It really is about helping them solve their most pressing problem. And the bigger the promise on these live trainings, on the live things, or on your recorded training, then chances are the show up rate is going down again, because if the problem is too big and they don't feel like they could fix it today, this week, or even this month, then they are going to save it for later. And the save for later is another thing that is really affecting it with the phantom leads. If your phantom leads are saying, I can't fix this month, I can't fix this today, so I'm going to save this for later, and then I will figure out when I'm ready to do all of these things, and I will come back to it. So these things are causing you to get the phantom leads.
So this is a big circle. This is the representation of your entire audience. It is big, it is broad, it is everyone. And this is what most people are doing. They just say, I need to grow the circle. The circle needs to become bigger, whether that's more leads, more people showing up for my trainings, more. This is what we want to move away from. It's not about bigger circles. It's about speaking to the right people inside the circle. What we really want to focus on is rich niche leads every single day. We want you to get more qualified leads, and we're going to walk you through how to do that every single day. We also want you to get sales every single week. The reason why we want to get sales every single week is everyone wants to improve their messaging. You only know when your messaging improves when you get consistent sales. When you can get someone to come in and say, oh my gosh, what you just said resonated with me. That problem that you described is the problem I'm having. I'm ready to go. Here's my money. That is when your messaging is working. It's not, spending 6 months in a vacuum and researching messaging. It's actually going out and trying to sell. And then the last piece of this is an hour a day. We have kids, we have a life. We do not want to build a business that's going to sacrifice our life. So we want to limit the time that we are spending in our business to selling and developing these leads to 1 hour a day.
And the other thing that's like the myth, which I said, like more leads is the myth. The numbers and the metrics that we've been tracking up until this point almost like are fake and they don't matter anymore. Because if you are getting 5,000 leads into your launch, but they're all phantom leads and you don't know that until the end of your launch, then what good is that leads number?
Yeah.
And this is why we're so passionate about rich niche leads and the rich niche funnel that we teach inside Elevate, because you're only a few days away, 1 or 2, like 48 hours away from understanding, do I have phantom leads or do I have rich niche leads, and fixing it. If you are going 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 months collecting all of these leads to find out they're phantom leads and they're not doing anything and they're not talking back and they're not showing up, and you've risked your entire half of a year or entire quarter on this one launch to find out these are phantom leads, that is really risky. And we don't want anyone to be taking that much risk in business. There is calculated risk. But when you implement this system and you can say, okay, these are rich niche leads, check. I have rich niche leads coming in every single day. And now I have sales coming in every single week. I'm working on this 1 hour a day. You're seeing the progress. You're seeing the momentum. You're seeing the money come in the door, which makes you see the impact, which makes you want to stay in business longer, which gives you actually a business that gives you energy, doesn't deplete you. And this is like the epidemic that we're in, is like these launches are exhausting people because you have no idea how you're doing until your launch is over. And then you're just playing scramble catch up, and then you're exhausted. And it's this big cycle. And we are trying to undo that cycle by showing you rich niche leads every single day, coming in, buying every single week, and you're spending an hour a day on it.
So we hear from people who have been ghosted every single day, every single week, and it comes down to the reason they're so upset about being ghosted is they just want more sales. They really
and more impact and more energy.
They want more sales to get more impact with more energy. The problem is they just feel like their audience is quiet, and whatever they do, they can't wake it up. It's like their audience is sleeping and they can't wake them up. They also see their leads signing up for things, but they don't do anything. So it's either signing up for a PDF and not downloading it, not opening the emails, not showing up to the training, not responding to any conversations, or it's signing up for a training and not even coming to the training. So it's just this huge problem. They just feel almost helpless. They're like, feel like I'm doing things, but
I know I'm really good. I know I help people. Everyone who signs up gets results. My clients are crushing it. And yet the selling part is the sticking point for me.
Mm-hmm. And they get people saying, this was so great. This training was amazing. This piece of content was amazing. You're so amazing. But yet they can't get those same people to buy. And this is the major problem that we're seeing with people. And the way that we fix this is we focus on the rich niche.
And like, I just want to talk again really quick to the results of this and to saying like, what is possible when you set this up. Now, whether if you're sitting here and you're like, yeah, but I like launching, that is great. We want to help all of our people, especially our clients, launch from a place of power and launch from a place of, oh my gosh, this is like a bonus. This is cherry on top. All of this money is extra coming in. I already have my bills paid. So this is like a fun cash infusion coming from the place of, this is going to light me up and give me power. And when you do this, what will happen is you see your audience talking back. You see them getting excited. You see them consuming your content and they're talking to you about it. There is nothing better to me than when we get on the phone with people and they're like, I want to target my rich niche. I listened to your secret podcast. I binged all your trainings. I binged your podcast, and now I'm here and ready. And that is how you go from the phantom leads to rich niche leads who are showing up, who are consuming, who are using your language, who are talking back, and who are ready to get your help. And this, what Dan's going to walk you through, is exactly how you do this. And our clients who implement this are literally blown away. Ina, who came in last week, she was like, my audience is waking up. I am so shocked.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, this circle represents our entire audience. And the first thing that we have to do is we have to assume that people in our audience have different ingredients, and we have to analyze what ingredients they have before they even start working with us. And so the way that we break this down is we're going to break this circle down into segments, and we're going to break it down based on a few different options. The first thing we're going to look at is motivation. And what I mean by motivation is, do they have a desire to make a change? Because some people do. Some people say, I want to make a change. Conversely, there are other people who have no desire to change. No matter what you say to them, they are not going to want to change. Now, the flip side of this, we also need to measure what happens when they take action. And there are some people in your audience right now who are thriving. Even though they want to make changes, they are already doing well. And on the flip side of this, we have people who are struggling. Same thing. Even though they have taken some action, they have not gotten great results. They are struggling to get the results. So this is in weight loss. This is in financial stability. This is in financial freedom. This is in business growth. Even relationships. There are people who want to make a change who are either struggling with the change they want, or they are actually doing pretty well with that change. And so when we understand this, now we've broken our audience of 1 down to 4 different quadrants. And so when we look at this, we need to go through and understand how are each of these quadrants going to react to not only our messaging and our content, but also our offer. And so I'm going to start down here on the bottom right. And this section down here, these are the people who are thriving with no desire to change. And it's interesting because if you were to speak to these people, these are people that when we talk to, I get very excited with them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, your business is doing well. We can help you get more leads and more sales. And when we had a Facebook ads agency, I would do this a lot on sales calls. They get on sales calls. So they progress through your content, and they get down to it, and you say the offer, and they actually couldn't care any less because they're interested, but they're doing well and they don't have any desire to change. So they kind of look at you and they're like, well, why would I change anything? I'm already doing fine. And so while this is a little frustrating, it's honestly not that big of a deal because this is a relatively small percentage of your audience.
The thing is here, which is why Dan gets frustrated with this segment, is because we see the potential for people, and we see like, oh my gosh, if you just do these 3 things, you could literally like quantum leap so big. And when you see the potential and when the person you're talking to doesn't see the potential, there's a mismatch there. So if they're thriving and you're like, oh my gosh, you could literally like quantum leap in the next 3 months, and I'm so excited. And they're just like, yeah, but I'm good here. Like this, they don't care, or they're good. Yeah. They're solid. They don't want to change. So we got to let those people go.
Yeah. And with these people, the offer cannot be good enough to get them to say yes, which again, another frustrating problem for me just to deal with personally. So on the flip side of this, if we look over here on this segment, we have those people who are struggling with no desire to change. Now, these people don't want to change, and they've taken some actions in the past and failed. Why this is so important is because if you try to talk to these people, you are going to get no sales because they are struggling and they don't want to change. Now, the problem here, this is the major problem that we see, is because when we look at it, about 80% of the marketing out there is targeting these people. It's the people who have no desire to change and are struggling. And we've been sold this lie, or the other people have been sold this lie, that we need to get so good at marketing that we actually need to push these people up to the top left quadrant. We need to give them a desire to change. This is like when you, if you're in like the health and wellness industry, it's talking to that person that is so sick and so almost helpless. And you're like, oh my gosh, you have to change. You have to make this change. Where what happens is you can get really good at marketing to actually give these people desire to change. Unfortunately, the way that you do that is you convince. You actually convince them to sign up for your list. Then you convince them to show up to the training. If you get really good, you can convince some of these people to sign up for your offer. The problem with this is those people are the people who come to your offer and don't take any action. And then they look at you and they say, hey, why aren't I getting the results? And you say, because you didn't take any action. But most of our clients, most of the people we speak to are so like service centered that they take responsibility and they say, I did something wrong, that this person is not taking action with my program and getting the results that I promised them. And so why this is so devastating is because people get sucked into this spiral of doom and they say, oh my gosh, my marketing stinks because no one wants to sign up, no one is showing up, and no one is buying. And then the people who do buy aren't taking action and they aren't getting results.
They're asking for refunds,
Or they're
even worse.
Yeah, or they're asking for refunds. And so what this does is it leads them to go out and then have to go out and market their business more with this weight on their shoulders of, oh my gosh, every person who's joining my program is not getting the results that I wanted them to. So now they have to water down their message because they say, oh my gosh, I used to say that they could get a partner in 90 days, but no one in my program has done that. So now I need to say they need a partner in 120 days or 6 months, which just waters down your message and makes people less interested in what you're having to talk about. And so where we see this show up specifically with show up rates is people are talking to too much of this side of the circle. And they're missing out on the people who are actually willing to take action and move towards their goals. Now, if we just shift who we are talking to and we speak to this rich niche, we can find people who are doing well and want to do better. They are the people who are willing to take fast action, which means signing up and showing up and buying quickly. The difference is that these people have different problems than the people over here. So we need to start speaking to these people in a different way. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I'm in an industry that doesn't have a rich niche. That's false. You do. There are people out there who are doing well who still want to do better. There are also those of you who are saying, okay, fine, I do have a rich niche, but they don't have problems. Again, you're wrong. They have problems. They're just different. Your job is to uncover the problems that your rich niche has. This is what Nicole and I were talking about a few slides ago, is that the problems that you talk about have to be specific to your rich niche, and it has to be a result that they want right now. When Nicole was talking about being the elevated CEO, getting your time back, spending more time with family, growing your revenue, that is a large goal. It's a very broad goal. We're not doing a training on that. We're doing a training on a very specific problem that our rich niche has, which is show up rates. The reason we're doing this is because we've analyzed it. We know what to talk about if we want to talk to these people, and we try not to talk about that. So our goal is to spend, I'll clean this up a little bit, is to spend as much of our content, as much of our time speaking to our rich niche, and spend less time talking to those people who we need to convince, talking to the careless or talking to the non-buyers. Now, it's not something you have to be perfect at, but it's something that you have to try. And the more that you work at this, the better you will get at speaking to your rich niche, getting your rich niche to talk back, getting them to show up to either trainings, launches, sales calls, whatever you're doing, and then getting those people to buy. Do you have anything to add to that?
I was just going to say, and if you, because we like to keep things short and sweet. So when you start targeting your rich niche, you're going to see your people talking back, your conversations go up, your comments go up, your engagement go up, your show ups go up, your buyers go up, and it starts having a ripple effect. So our clients who come inside Elevate, our goal is to give you the funnel, the systems, the templates from your ads to your content to your live trainings, all the way down to your sales script, to your offer. So if you want the scripts, the templates, the step by step of exactly how to do this, how to set up your funnel, what to say, when to say it, like we said, the exact scripts and templates, then fill out the application and we will see if you are a good fit for Elevate, because our entire thing is like, we want to give you the guidelines and we want to give you the formula, and then we work with you to customize it for your rich niche. But we are laying it all out inside our program Elevate. We are giving you scripts, templates, the step-by-step, the how-to, the what to say, the when to say it, so you can target that rich niche. So you go from the phantom leads to the rich niche leads who are actually engaging, showing up, and buying.
All right. Well, so yeah, if you do have any questions and you want to go through this, if you want a customized one-to-one call where we will actually help you target your rich niche and help you talk through that, then just fill out the application below. We will ask you some questions and make sure we can support you. And then we will hop on a quick call to learn more about your business and see how we can support you with that.
All right, so there you go. That is how you increase your show up rates. You target your rich niche and you will see the ripple effect of this right away.